Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about homophobes and their dumb arguments relating to anal sex. Obviously, if you are uncomfortable with discussion involving anal sex, this video is not for you. Go watch one of my other videos relating to homophobic morons. I have left 2 links in the description. Anyway, on to the point. When trying to come up with a logical explanation for their irrational bigotry, homophobes love to talk about anal sex. They often express what can only be called an obsession. Make what you like of this gay anal sex focus of theirs, and the fact that homophobia and suppressed homosexual desires correlate. They use this weird anal sex argument, so it is important that people who support gay rights know how to address it. My goal here is to share my personal responses to these arguments. The main homophobe argument relating to anal sex revolves around increased risks of certain medical issues that occur when this form of sex is practiced. The homophobes will then argue that as the sex serves no essential utility, and it can harm people, we should therefore oppress gay people. Yes, I know what you are thinking. What an irrational argument. It is indeed blatantly irrational, but I have to address it anyway, because some people take it seriously. Before I get too into it, one funny thing about this argument is the supposed concern for gay people practicing anal sex. Of course, most of the people who make these arguments are homophobes, who do not actually care about the well-being of gay people even a little bit, but who just want to find an argument against the existence of these same gay people that they are so very concerned about. To steelman the homophobes' point appropriately, it goes something like this. Anal sex leads to higher risks of medical issues and offers no essential utility, meaning we should oppress gay people in society to put them off having anal sex. Even when strawmanned, this argument is frighteningly bad. Before we get into things, do note that for the sake of argument, I am assuming that it is true that anal sex leads to increased risks of medical issues. Whether this is even true is certainly a debatable issue, but since I cannot be bothered going there, I am going to cede some ground to the homophobic morons, just to demonstrate that even if their data was true, it does not prove the point they think it does. The first thing that is essential to analysing the flaws of this argument is the fallacious conflation of anal sex and homosexuality. When I argue for gay rights, I am arguing for gay rights, not for anal sex. Being gay and anal sex are not the same thing. Lots of gay people do not have anal sex, and some straight people do have anal sex. Being gay and liking anal sex are just not the same thing. You could convince me that anal sex is a terrible thing that should be avoided, and I would still support gay rights. Anal sex is not in any way inherent to homosexuality, meaning I would simply argue for an anal sexless gay culture. I will not be arguing for that, however, because the risks are not great enough to warrant such actions against anal sex. Anal sex is nothing but a hobby which correlates with homosexuality, and the bizarre idea of the gay lifestyle. Yes, some minor risks are involved, as is the case with many hobbies, but if consenting and informed individuals decide they want to engage in these hobbies, despite the low risks, that is fine, and that is their free decision. This is how we treat people's decisions to engage in slightly risky hobbies in almost every other case. There is a weird exception here, primarily because homophobic morons are desperate to find ways to justify their irrational hatred of gay people. A good way of breaking down arguments is accepting the logic of your opponent, and then applying it in situations where it may be inconvenient, or may look stupid. I will do this here. Anal sex is a hobby which does not involve too many risks. Most people who participate in it are aware that some risks do exist, and they do what they can to minimize them, but do it anyway because the enjoyment it gives them outweighs the risks associated with it. This could be applied to so many different hobbies and activities: race car driving, contact sports, rock climbing, and many more. All of these things are similar to anal sex in that they are risky hobbies that do not serve an essential utility. These things are completely analogous, as they are hobbies which involve a certain amount of danger, which individuals who participate in these activities are aware of and cautious of. They do these things anyway because we believe in freedom, and we think that if someone thinks the enjoyment outweighs some minor risks to themselves, they have every right to do that thing. If you want to stop consenting adults who are careful and aware of the risks having anal sex, surely we should stop the consenting adults who do other risky hobbies as well. This is the logical conclusion of the deranged homophobe logic. Of course, they will not be following this logic because they look like they are just opposed to all slightly dangerous hobbies. They have not thought about their logic and just want to apply it inconsistently when convenient to attacking people that they are bigoted against. They desperately conflate homosexuality and anal sex, which are not the same thing, and then take up a position that, if followed to a logical conclusion, is opposed to all slightly dangerous recreational activity. If a homophobe ever tries to argue against gay rights by talking about anal sex, you know they are nothing but a hateful moron who applies inconsistent logic and has no real arguments.